right, we are walking into our local grocery for our first installment of the video. I have my calculator and my list with me of the things we need to get for our recipe. Tonight we're making barbecue chicken and coleslaw, and we're doing it clean, so we're going to show you how we do that by picking up the ingredients that are required. And I'm also going to keep track of how much it costs, and I'm going to do this at different stores around my area. Whether you have the store in your area that I'm at, brand wise, or I will actually go to Walmart, because who doesn't have one of those in their particular town. Okay, so the first item we're going to be going after is some coleslaw mix for the coleslaw that we're going to be making. So we're going to meander over here because Pheonix doesn't feel like chopping up cabbage today. She is just going to find some shredded coleslaw mix. And of course we are going to be looking at the labels to make sure that the products are clean, because that's what this is all about, is providing clean food to folks, namely those who are doing the cooking themselves, because that's how you ensure that the food that you eat is of a good quality and not full of seed oils and sugars and things that you don't want. So here we are. I see that there is a reduction amount on some of these. Now we have some colored deli coleslaw, which I think is really neat looking. It looks really pretty. So let's see, we have a $1.99 price on that, so we're going to add that in on our calculator here. So for just 4 servings, which is a normal family size, we probably can get away with just 1 bag, which is essentially, how large is this bag? Let's see if it tells us. Well, first of all, we need to show you folks the nutrition label here. So got a lot of zeros, which is good. You've got 5 grams of carbs. You have absolutely 3 grams of sugar, and that's no additional. So it means the natural sugar that is in the product. Now this has only cabbage, red and green, and carrots. So I'm going to mark down, let's see, I have marked down the price of our cabbage, and now we're going to cross it off our list. I know you probably can't see the list in this little thing very well, but we're going to cross it off, indicate we've picked it up. And we're going to meet back up with Phone Boy, which is my partner, although he will be behind the scenes running things. So the next item we're going to go after, y'all, is the chicken quarters for the meal. They are the main star of the dish. So we're going to walk over to the meat section and see what we can find for how many shekels, if you will. And I know there's probably a lot of background noise. I mean, it is a grocery store after all, folks, but I think it's important for people to see, you know, just exactly how much a meal really costs to make, and look at what's in it and the ingredients, and don't give up on the fact that you can do this. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and before you know it, you're going to be looking and feeling amazing, because you're not going to be putting all those grains and seed oils and sugars and carbs and all the things you shouldn't be eating in your body. So in this little small town I live in, the best I can do is a 10-pound bag of some chicken I wouldn't feed to my dog, but I understand. I also get all of my meat from a farmer, so I'm not trying to be uppity, I'm just being real about the fact. And I don't like the fact that they don't have the prices listed on these particular leg quarters. It's disturbing to me, because I really believe that, and I don't even want to touch this if I'm honest. Yeah, and it's sitting in all that blood. Y'all, I cannot, Pheonix cannot abide, folks, in buying those at all. Like, it just doesn't feel genuine to me to purchase something that looks like that. So we're gonna actually do this because I'm gonna cut up the pieces anyway. What we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a package of thighs. So we have $9.14 for those. We're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna put those in a bag. Give me a second, folks. I gotta go grab a bag for this. I will mark these prices down for you folks in just a moment when I am done putting everything in its bag. I don't like touching meat with raw hands, especially the packages in grocery stores, because they leak and then you get that blood on you, and God knows you don't think about it. Next thing you know, you rub your eye and you got salmonella. We just don't need that in the world. We have enough of it with the current situation. So, what did I say that price was? $9.14? Okay, folks. We're gonna add that to our $9.14. Then we're gonna find a pack of legs. These are less expensive usually. Ooh, Lord, but not by much, I will tell you. Okay, here we go. We've got one here that is $6.82. Now I just realized that I don't need the items because I already have them that I picked up. So I'm actually going to put these back. But I am going to mark the $6.82 that would cost. I just remembered. So I could have gotten away with not touching that crap. Isn't that lovely? You know, as I referenced, I've actually this week I've actually already picked up the ingredients that we need for this recipe, so I don't have them in my cart. I won't have them in my cart in future because this is obviously the first episode of the Lotus Cafe, so things are still kind of trying to get their feet. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this and make it where I don't sound like a blathering idiot. Hey everybody, welcome back. We've gotten home from the grocery store, so now we're going to prepare the food that we shopped for, which is of course the BBQ Dusted Chicken and the coleslaw side. Again, all very clean. So the first thing we're gonna do, I've already put my gloves on and I've already preheated the oven to 350 degrees because we're gonna do this in two ways. We're gonna start it in the oven and we're gonna finish it in the air fryer. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our chicken quarter, and I have this big chopping axe over here, also known as a beautiful little cleaver. I'm just gonna find where the end of the bone sits between the thigh and the drumstick, and I'm gonna separate them. That way you'll essentially have two pieces of chicken for the price of one. So as I do that, I'm gonna set them over here on the tray that I have lined with parchment paper, because that's where we're going to season them, that's where we're going to cook them. It's a one-stop shop. Now, to separate the two pieces of chicken, I usually do a kind of a cursory cut around it. Then you're going to feel around in the bone, because of course the thigh and the drumstick both have a delineating mark between the bones. So you find that mark and you kind of just cut through it. And there you go. You have a chicken leg and a chicken thigh, all for the price of a leg quarter. Very much cheaper, especially in this economy. So we're just going to get those legs arranged there. Going to clean up a little bit here. I'm actually going to keep my glove on. Now, of course, we're going to be using the butt rub and the Anna barbecue dust seasoning from Eat Happy Kitchen. I mixed them together in this nice little bowl here. I also have my tongs for when I get ready to flip the chicken in the air fryer. So we're just going to set those over there for right now. So now that we've got our chicken pieces, we need to take some Villa Capelli olive oil and just give them a light drizzle, kind of massage it around in them. Gotten a little more than I bargained for on that. So we're just going to give it a little drizzle. So, rubbing it on the paper even, because that oil is beautiful. A little dribble here and there. And don't be afraid of oil, especially olive oil. Now, of course, the stuff that you get in the grocery stores, they can cut it up to 40% and still call it pure. So if you're looking for olive oil and you... Of course, the first place to go, Villa Capelli, for Villa Capelli olive oil. It is the purest, comes from Puglia, Italy. We love it here at the Lotus Cafe. And if you can't quite make that fit into your budget, and a lot of people can't, that's okay. Remember, you're massaging that olive oil on both sides. You're just manipulating the chicken. This is why I wear gloves, because I don't like the feel of raw meat on my hands, and to me it's less sanitary not to wear gloves. Of course, I have a culinary background, and most chefs that I know, including myself, wear gloves. So just get that massaged in. But if you can't afford, like I was saying, to do the Villa Capelli route, then if you're looking for olive oil in the store, find the stuff that is kosher. That will pretty much give you a guarantee, or the closest thing to one, that it is not cut with seed oils, because you do not want to be consuming seed oils at all for any reason. So now that I've gotten my chicken nice and oiled, I'm going to take some of this wonderful seasoning. I'm just going to dust it over it lightly. And in Casa Lotus, or I should say, in the Lotus Cafe, we have a rule. We season until the ancestors say whoa. So if you see me using more seasoning than most chefs that you would, well, surprise, I'm not afraid of seasoning. Seasoning is flavor. You know why ultra-processed foods and the things you get in restaurants are sometimes taste different? Well, because all that sugar they add to make it have flavor. None of the things that I make, or at least the things that I make, do not contain sugar. They may contain honey, natural sweetness. Okay, so that looks really nice right there. So I'm going to put on another glove, and I'm going to flip that chicken over, because again, I don't like touching chicken with raw hands. Just not my groove. Now you'll notice I did not add any salt or pepper to the chicken. It's already lovingly added in the spices that I have put on it, the butt rub and the Anna barbecue dust. So that is why there's not any extra salt or pepper applied to the chicken. Now, we're just going to give these wonderful little leggies here. We're going to let them flip over here. They're flipping for chicken. So we're going to turn these thighs. All right. Get rid of that glove. And we've got the rest of this wonderful seasoning here, which, by the way, it's about 3 tablespoons of seasoning. I've done a 1.5 tablespoons of the butt rub and a 1.5 tablespoons of the Anna barbecue dust. So we're just going to continue to season these up nice, get all that beautiful barbecue flavor all over them. And I assure you, Anna's barbecue dust is absolutely the bee's knees, guys. We'll put a link to it in the show. It is just the cleanest, most delicious, and it's not that expensive. When you think about all the money you would spend trying to add all those ingredients together, all those spices together in just the perfect proportions. And you can see here I'm adding a little extra of her barbecue dust. Nice little shot of it there for the camera. So that's out of Eat Happy Kitchen. That's Anna Vicino's brand. And like I said, we'll leave a link in the notes if you are interested in getting a hold of some of her barbecue dust. All right, those look amazing. I'm going to flip them back over because I like to cook my chicken with the skin up for obvious reasons, not just because when I brown it in the air fryer, crisp it up, however you want to put it, it is going to be amazing. I might even put a little more of that dust on here because the wetness from the chicken has put a little bit more on the paper than I would have preferred. But again, you know, even the paper has to enjoy the clean, delicious tastes that come from the Lotus Cafe. So we won't begrudge the paper today for stealing some of that wonderful seasoning. Just a light sprinkle. Not getting too heavy because they've already had a good dose of it on the first round. All right, so we're going to pop these in the oven. We're going to put them in there at 350 degrees. They're going to go in for 30 minutes because we're going to do, like I said, half in the oven and half in the air fryer. Now, while we're waiting for the chicken to finish, we have some coleslaw we need to make. Okay, so now we've got our chicken in the oven and we're going to get started on the coleslaw. Now, I will admit, in the recipe that will be included in the show notes, I do have a physical copy of the recipe that I wrote. I did skip a little. As you saw at the grocery store, I bought the already shredded cabbage. In the recipe, I tell you how to make your own, shred like this, save you a bunch of money. But first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our cabbage mix and we're going to open it up. And we are going to take the bowl we have over here to add everything into. So I'm going to grab a whisk out of my drawer here. Just a quick little whoop whoop for the dressing. I'm going to get that in there. So first thing we're going to take is we're going to take 1/2, now that's this, okay? This accounts to 1/2 head of green cabbage and 1/2 head of purple cabbage with 1 to 2 carrots, it's up to you, shredded. You're going to ribbon the cabbage and then you're going to shred the carrot. You're going to put it in a bowl. That's what we've done here, except for we cheated, like I said. Then you're going to take 1/2 cup of sour cream and 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, which I've incorporated into one container. You're going to put it in the bowl. It's going to be your base for your dressing for this coleslaw. It's going to be amazing, I guarantee. So, I'm going to get all the measurement out of that. Now you'll see there's actually, these are measurement bowls. If you like them, you can click the affiliate link in the show notes, and it should be in the description. And hey, gives us a little bit of something, and you can get bowls just like that. So the next thing we're going to pop in here is going to be our honey. Now, like I said, I don't use sugar, but occasionally I use just the smallest amount of sweetener, so we choose honey. This is 1.5 teaspoons of honey. We're just going to scoop in there. And again, this pretty little bowl that you see is one of many that is on that tray. They're also available at Amazon. So if you want to click the affiliate link and get yourself some of these cute little silicone bowls, very colorful, very useful, we would love it. The next thing you're going to add is going to be the cider vinegar. Now, of course, I used the unfiltered raw that you saw in the grocery store video, and I shook it up, and all the mother has settled to the bottom, but that's okay. It'll still get in there like it needs to. Then we're going to add our celery seed, which is here, followed by our salt, and our pepper. Now, of course, the measurements are all listed in the notes. It's 1.5 teaspoons of honey that we put in there. I know I told you about that. There's also 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar, 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Fresh ground, of course. Fresh ground is always better than the stuff you get at the store. You don't know how long it's been sitting there. It just has a better flavor. It's overall just, it's better. Grind your own cheese, grate your own cheese, grind your own pepper. Just don't be lazy about it. So it didn't take long. Look at that. We got that all together, mixed up. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take our cabbage. We're just going to put it on the top there and kind of shake it in there. And then we're going to take our spoon and we're just going to fold that into the dressing. Get it all nice and moist and mixed up. Coming together really nicely. I think that's going to be plenty moist and plenty delicious for what we're going to be eating tonight. And again, this is super clean. It doesn't have all of the horrible seed oils and grains and sugars. You know, I much prefer to have honey as opposed to any of the sugars on the market. Not even agave syrup or monk fruit, or definitely no artificial sweeteners. Those things are just toxic to your body. It's so terrible. So now we've gotten the coleslaw all mixed up there. We are going to put a lid on it, And we're going to let it refrigerate while we wait for the chicken to get done. All right, our timer is about to go off for the oven portion of this. We've got about 1 second. All right, now we're going to open up the oven and see what we've got. Woo, all that steam coming out. Look at that. So we're going to take our meat thermometer. You've got it. Turn it on. We have set it to the poultry setting. Looking for a 165. Now we know we're not going to get a 165 off of this because I'm not looking for a 165 for done. But we are looking to see how close to done we are. So I'm going to close up the oven. I'm going to come over here. And we are going to temp close but not on the bone. Oh, those are actually temping out. That happened really fast. Let's see. Yeah, those all seem to be temping. I guess this chicken cooked a lot faster than we expected it to, but that's okay because we can still hit it with the air fryer to give it a nice crispy texture. So we're going to turn the oven off and then we're going to bring it over and hit it with the air fryer. Okay, so now that we've pulled our chicken off of the tray, we're going to handle it. Now I've taken the liberty of putting a few pieces in the air fryer. You're going to use the black insert for the air crisp, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to close the lid. We turned it on. We're going to hit our air crisp function. We're going to turn this up to 400 degrees. We're going to have it in there because they pretty much temped out in the oven. So we're going to put it on for 5 minutes, hit the start button, and see what happens. So our air fryer just ended on its first round of 5 minutes. So we're going to take our chicken. We're going to flip it over. All we're really doing is just crisping the skin since it came to temp for safe consumption during the oven portion. We're going to close the lid again. Air crisp at 400 for just 5 minutes because, like I said, it temped. It should come out nice and crispy. Here we go. Alrighty, the timer has ended on this round of chicken. Let's see. Ooh, that looks absolutely beautiful. Look at this, folks. We're going to be pulling out some legs and some thighs. And those are just juicy and crispy and beautiful. They're going to be an absolute delight. I'm going to put the other 4 in. I love to hear that sizzle. Okay, folks, so we have a finished product here. We have the barbecue dusted air fried chicken, and we have the coleslaw with clean, creamy dressing. So we're going to chow down here at the Lotus Cafe, and we're going to thank you for joining us for this episode, and hope to see you on the next one. Remember, eat clean, stay clean.